Hey guys, Ronan Will. Today we are going to be painting the Republic Clone Commandos, which is one of the last troopers released so far for the Star Wars Shatterpoint miniatures game. These guys are coming to a unit of 2, and they are found in the Plans and Procedures booster box, along with Luminara and her Padawan, Barriss, right? Barriss Ofti. So we're going to be painting these guys. Believe it or not, this is one of the longest paints I've done in a while. As you can see by the length of this video, it is also one of the simplest paints. These guys literally have white armor, like dark brown or black under armor essentially, and that is about it. Very bright blue on their visors, which looking at their card art, I did not fully finish. If you look at their card art, their blue kind of goes through that the T spot like normal, and then it actually goes down right around the jawline. Anyway, that's something I'm going to probably do later on once I fix it. Anyway, so I started with just some matte white. I had to prime these guys actually in my gray primer. I ran out of white because otherwise this would have been a real fast touch up. Instead, I have to paint all this armor white. But don't worry, I don't have to just do it once. I get to do it twice in this video. That's right, these guys, after I dark toned, ended up having to get another white coat, just because of the toners. Anyway, so these guys are probably some of my favorite characters from the expanded universe for Star Wars. One of the first times you get to see them is in the Star Wars Commandos video game, which is one of my favorite. It's very few first-person shooters are like I enjoy playing. This one I had a lot of fun. You play as a squad. Well, you play as the leader of a squadron of Clone Commandos, and you are entered basically into the battle of Geonosis, the very first battle, doing some work there, and just like little, it's a short game, so little side like stories, nothing too intense, but yeah, so their armor is actually heavier than, like, a heavier duty armor than the standard clone troopers, as well as like even their undergear, under weave, the black, what is that called, basically the black onesie, the black leotard or whatever you want to call it underneath their armor is actually more resistant, armored. I said armor like 6 times, guys. It's heavier duty, so they can take a lot more hits, a lot more damage, which kind of reflects in the armor itself, in their defense rolls, as well as their health, which is a 6. So they're a little bit more durable. Let's see. Some of their... So in this card, of course, it's a two character unit. They are, of course, Clone Commandos. They have keywords of Clone Commandos, Clone Troopers, Galactic Republic, and Trooper. They have 5 different skills, which 3 of them look like, if I'm not mistaken, again, I haven't read through the rules or anything completely yet. I'm kind of holding off once I get closer to finishing all of the painting. I do apologize. I didn't realize how much I painted off camera on this. But again, it's all white at this point. So 5 skills, I believe 3 of them which are just passive, right? Okay, so we have defensive maneuver, which costs a force. Each character in this unit may dash. If a character dashes, this unit gains cover. I really have to read these. Hopefully by the next video I'll actually have some more knowledge on what each of these symbols mean. We have coordinated fire, which shows damage. When a character in another allied Galactic Republic unit makes an attack as part of a combat action, before dice are rolled, this unit may use its ability. Use this ability, sorry. If the targeted character is within range 5 of a character in this unit, the target unit suffers 1 damage. So, before the dice is rolled, this unit may use this ability. If the targeted character... I'm a little confused on the wording there, but it sounds like you pick another allied character, and then if that allied character is in combat, you see if the enemy unit is within 5, within a range 5, and if it is, you automatically deal 1 damage. Seems a little strong. Ascension cables. So this is a constant. It's excuse me. It is a continuous. So characters in this unit. Man, what did I get into, guys? I don't know. Characters in this unit have scales, so they don't have to worry too much about egress points. They have brothers in arms. Well, this unit has 1 or more hunker. Characters in this unit have steadfast. I am really sorry, guys. I'm trying not to sneeze anymore. And then finally, they have commando armor. Characters in this unit have protection. So yeah, that is all their base, or all their abilities. If protection is anything like their usual, like how it usually is, it increases their defense. Steadfast, I believe, would helps with that as well. Alright, so after that I had to switch the camera battery, and now I am using dark stone for their armor pieces, just to differentiate it from the clones, the basic clones who had necromancer cloak on their black pieces, or dark colored pieces, whatever you want to call them. So these guys are going to have not quite the same coloring as the clone troopers. Yeah, so that's info on them. The other unit, the other character in this unit is kind of hunched over. He's taking cover, which honestly, I find it interesting. They mostly have a lot of cover tactics, but they're also very, reliant on each other, helping the other units out. So, all right, let's get some facts about these Clone Commandos. Let's see. Again, I hate to say it, but this is such a simple paint job that there's not a lot of things to talk about on the base coating. especially the base coating. You can't really see too much detail, obviously, because I have no shade or anything. They're just very base. Alright. Republic Commandos, while serving under the Galactic Republic, were elite clone troopers that served in the Grand Army, Special Operations Branch, Brigade, during the Clone Wars. So they were, again, there were less of them, but they were more specialized, if you will. So they're talking. It seems like Bad Batch kind of also helped develop these commando type units. So some of their earlier stuff is again from that video game. While putting down an insurrection, Clone Force 99, also known as the Bad Batch, were summoned by Commander CC-2224, also known as Cody, during Battle of Anaxis, to assist him and the clone commander, Captain Rex, in assessing the secret behind Admiral Trench's. Why are we talking more about those guys than? Sorry, I'm just kind of looking through. So here we go. They have some equipment. Katarn class commando armor, which is heavier than a standard trooper armor. Of course, the backpack, which we can see there, where members kept various items like grenades, sabotage gear, etc. Ascension cables in the case of this tabletop miniatures game. They were allowed to choose the colors of their armor. I kind of just kept them basic, with the basic white equipment. So if I wanted, I could add some detail to it, some coloring to them eventually. If we start getting like multiple versions of Clone Commandos, maybe I'll add some, other colors to them. I don't know why I did this. I painted the bottom of the feet, which, to be completely honest, makes no sense, and there's no point in it, because once we start doing the bases, these guys are never coming off the bases, so that's kind of a waste of time and effort on my part, but I did it. So in combat, the Commandos utilized the DC-17M interchangeable weapon system and the DC-17 hand blaster. The hand blaster is, of course, the little pistol they have, which is interesting. They don't actually have it on them. The blaster that they're using is the DC-17M interchangeable weapon system, which allowed them to switch it into like sniper versions or rocket launchers or even a shotgun. Their standard is like the semi-automatic rifle. Those at the Imperial base on Daron, like the RC-1262, aka Scorch, used the DC-15A blaster carbines. During the rise of the Galactic Empire, their left gauntlet carried repulsor, while their right gauntlet contained a vibroblade. Commandos could also use a grenade launcher. That's just such a random choice to throw that in there. Yeah, they keep bringing up Clone Force 99, which, yes, they are kind of like Clone Commandos, but they're also not. They're very different. So let's see. Some other notable squads in this group, of course, are Clone Force 99, Delta Squad. Oh, sorry, I almost forgot. So this is the point where I did the blaster real quick, gunmetal, and then I put a light blue. I believe that one was crystal blue, and it just goes over the front visor there, and that's about it. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to hit the camera a ton. And this I was testing out. If you remember the last episode with the battle droid, the super battle droids, I wanted to see how the blue toner would affect this guy. So I coated the entire white armor in blue, which, again, if I didn't run out of white primer, I could have literally just skipped the entire first 5 minutes of this video, 8 minutes of this video. So I go pretty heavy on my inks or my toners here, which will eventually result in me having to repaint the entire white armor set. And these guys have a lot of white on them. But as you can see, it does give him a nice differentiation between the armor plates in the end. I don't know why I chose to paint the blaster or tone the blaster before I finished the leg, because let me tell you, I hate toning like this. You could actually see this. I was doing this base coat around the same time I was doing the battle droids, so I just wanted to make sure that it was completely coated, and then I had to let it sit overnight, and this is the result. So a nice deep dark blue, which now I have to go and recover everything in white paint. So what I'm trying to do here is just touch the top of every one of these plates. I also messed with the camera a little bit to try and get really close to this, but it feels like I might be a little too close. It's getting fairly blurry. But again, you can kind of see, especially as you go, just the raised areas on each of the armor pieces. So this is just matte white that I'm literally going to be retouching every one of these pieces for. I tested it out on the other guy, which he took longer than this one because of his angles. This one, because he's nice and open, he's got that big open pose, it saves a lot of time and effort. May not be as dynamic as some of the other guys, showing crouching down or blasting or whatever, but I kind of like how open his armor set is here. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. Okay, so Delta Squad. High Storm. Delta Squad was a pair of Republic Commandos that were deployed to Davrin by the Jedi Council and recovered the bodies of Jedi Master Halsey and his Padawan Nox that had been killed there. I don't know why I said it almost like singing. The squad was led by Clone Sergeant RC-1138, also known as Boss, and consisted of second in command RC-1140 Fixer, RC-1207 Sev, and RC-1262 Scorch. Delta Squad participated in some of the war's most dangerous missions. I do not know who these guys are. I don't even recognize their armor sets or anything. The other group is Foxtrot Group, which they are the ones that, if I'm not mistaken, are from the Star Wars Commando, Republic Commando game. So elite unit Clone Commandos attached to the 212th Attack Battalion. Was reported missing in action at the Battle of Sarashi. Captain Gregor was also reported missing after the Battle of Sarachi. However, he later reappeared in Ebefir with amnesia. Oh, okay. So these guys were introduced in the Clone Wars TV show, and I feel like these were the ones who they basically tried to retcon the Star Wars Commando game to make it fit in with the cartoon series, and that is why they look so similar to the actual guys you play as in the game. Yeah, this is literally a nightmare doing all this. Part of me wishes that I would have, instead of toning the whole thing, just trying to tone any of the recesses. However, the problem with that is these guys are so detailed. Like, Atomic Mass Games just literally put so much detail in all these guys. It is next to impossible to just do the raised area, just do the egresses. But again, I feel like I did better with this guy than I did the original one, the first one that I was testing out the painting on. And the fact that he's also got that nice wide stance, which I mentioned earlier. But it's a lot of work with this. If I want, I might go back and add just some color differentiation, just so they're not just pure white clone troopers. Essentially, that's what they look like to me once they're finished. They look really good, but it's that simple color scheme of white, almost black, and that's about it. That, doesn't show any real personality with these guys. And considering but to be fair, they're kind of just the base, Clone Commandos. I'm sure we'll eventually maybe get a Bad Batch or Clone Force 99 batch group. I don't know if they'll actually include, what's her name, Omega, but they probably, if anything, will include the original Bad Batch group, which I think would be kind of fun to see. It's one of those ones that are going to be multi-faction, like the Darth Vader that they released, or Darth Vader, Obi-Wan, or even the Inquisitors, where they can be from a couple of different eras. But I don't even know how they would do Bad Batch, because like they're more like the Inquisitor group, I guess, where they each kind of have their own thing. You'd have Hunter, who would be the the main unit, and then you would have, I don't know, would Wrecker be maybe the second? No, I think Wrecker might be one of the troopers. But who knows? I'm getting bogged down in theories and thoughts on what I would like to do. Honestly, so while I was painting this, I kind of wanted to leave the blue on the chest plate the way it was. I ended up not doing that, again, because the initial concept picture that I saw, they went very generic, like, white and black on the armor sets. My God, I am so congested, guys. I am sorry if you can hear me sniffling. I don't even have a cold. I just literally, that sneezing fit in the beginning caused so much congestion. So, but yeah, no, I based it primarily off of the card art. So, like, I didn't want to put too much, I didn't want to put any real change up on their armor. Which, now that I read through a little bit more info and saw that, well, they could actually pick their designs and their colors on their armor, I'm like, oh, I wish I would have known that sooner. I would have done that with these guys in the video. I might just keep them plain until I get some new units, like some new commandos, and then maybe I'll try differentiating them. I don't know. I do find it interesting that each one in the groups, and I get it's more of a storytelling thing. Like, it's easier to tell the red one is this character, the blue one is this character, than like them being cohesive. So, like, you know how the Clone Commandos or the Clone Troopers in the 501st all have that blue stripe on them. These guys, they can be in the same squad, but they don't have the same coloring scheme, which I find interesting. I don't, I get it if you want to have like same color but different patterns and stuff, like the Clone Commanders kind of did, or the Clone Troopers kind of did. Again, that's more of a, I think, storytelling element than anything else. But I find it just funny that, like, they're usually in squadrons of 4 to 5. If you count Bad Batch, they had 5 units. Let's see, you have Wrecker, you have, man, why can't I think of their names now? You had Hunter, Wrecker, where is he? Hunter, Wrecker was the muscle, Crosshair was the sniper, what was the techie's name? I can't think of his name now. Tech, of course. Tech. So Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, Crosshair. So that was their main 4, and then they got Echo once they rescued him from being used as like anti-Republic units. I don't know. It was one of the stories in the later Clone Wars series, and it got very as they got closer to the end, I feel like their stories kind of got a little bit more convoluted, because Echo's squadron was like killed off, and then they rescued Echo as a experiment. It's a big thing. I liked Echo. Like, I liked his whole group. I think Echo and Fives were like part of that group, which Fives ended up being one of the clones to first find out about the inhibitor chip inside them, which would cause Order 66 to happen. So it's a good story. It's just very complicated, because they're trying to tie all these loose ends up in a couple of episodes in the final, like, lost season, and the season that they brought back and all that. So this is where the armor plates get really tight, is right around that gut area. So I wish I would have had a smaller brush, but all my small brushes are like really bad right now, so I have to make do with what I've got. Alright. So you can see how much paint has built up on this brush over the course of this episode alone. So I'm trying very, very hard, and I'm not really being as careful as I want to be, because by this point, you guys are watching at double speed. By this point, it's been almost like 3 hours doing base coat, dark tone, then base coat again, essentially. So we're just we're just kind of touching up these spots. I'm purposely leaving gaps so you can really see like the plating that it makes up, and by coloring it in, like going over it all in white, you don't really see that it's a blue tone on him. You can tell a little bit in like when it's actually out and you're doing stuff, you're playing the game, you can see it's got blue tone, but otherwise, like, you wouldn't even notice. You couldn't tell if it was blue or black in between the armor plates. And one of the main reasons I wanted to do the blue tone is I wanted to test out, see how well the blue looked on these guys, change it up a little bit, try and get like, a different coloring and not so much just brown or black as far as the toner. I think for the most part the blue turned out nice. It definitely got the black or it definitely darkened up the stone that was on his black spots. But yeah, other than that, it really wasn't too big of a deal. Alright, we're almost there, guys, I promise. This was a weird thing as well. The knee plate, like the knee guards, kind of have this like band, which is also supposed to be the armor, but then as you can see, like my brush kind of just filled in the entire curve, so I'm just trying to like patch it in. So yeah, it's a lot less of the toner came off on my fingers this time. When I was doing the other one, the test guy, because he was so tiny and complicated, like he was compact, he squished himself together. There was a lot of me holding it, and then just my, your fingers are warm, so you start rubbing off some of the paint and toner. So I'm glad that this time I didn't accidentally remove any of it. Well, that's a good angle. But essentially, I'm trying to get that little lip. If you look, you can see the little lip right underneath, or right above the foot, right underneath the ankle, which is what I'm trying to put in now to give it a little bit of a uniqueness. Even their shoes have like a weird line down them. So like the sides are fine, but then the top and edges are broken into pieces like this. Again, I just kind of did my best to show that break in the shoe. I guess it also has armor there. I don't know. It seems a little funny to have that much armor. If you look at the tip of the other foot, you can... Oh wait, no, that... Sorry, I thought that was the foot that wiped off some of the toner in the paint. It's not. It's because of the background that I'm using. It's a little white dot on there, but... Alright. It's hard to really... Like... Unlike the last couple of guys, there's not a ton. Like, obviously, I've filled up more than the time that I usually go. But these guys, they're so not very commonly like out there. They're used sparingly, which makes sense because they're supposed to be like these hard to deal with units. They're expensive to create. They can't just be, here's your basic armor, go. But these guys are like the elites of clone troopers, and their entire setup is basically you deal with these guys. You have a lot of problems coming your way if you're fighting one of these guys. Kind of like the Magna Guards, actually. Which I guess the Magna Guards were released, around the same time. I think the Magna Guard unit came out about a week after these guys. So here I go painting off camera again. I promise, guys, I will learn how to paint on camera eventually. It might not be for quite a few models yet, but I will get there. Basically, all I'm doing is trying to touch up. See, there we go. I remembered that I'm supposed to be recording this. I'm basically just touching up the bottom of the leg there, filling in all those little spots. There we go. Perfect. And finally, we attach that whole thing. It gets a nice little, again, it looks nice once you get all the painting in, but let me tell you guys, this was one of the stupidest things I could have done, is this this blue tone on the armor, and then basically had to repaint the armor twice. Since then, I have ordered 2 bottles of the white primer, but I don't really have that many clone troopers left. In fact, these are the last clone troopers I've got currently. I know Mace Windu comes with his clone units, and I don't know what the next sets coming out are for the Republic past that. I know Padme comes out soon, and a couple of those guys, but as far as the other clone commanders and stuff, I have no idea. No, he doesn't get Wolf. I look forward to getting Wolf because his helmet is so uniquely designed and everything. I'm hesitant to do not Cody, Rex, because Rex, he has a weird thing with his clone helmet, which I didn't attach to him, but I am going to be painting separately, so he has his helmet on his stand. I was thinking of having him holding it up, or not holding it up. It's going to be like tossed to the side, like he needed to take it off for some reason. Right there, I went a little too thick on the white on the helmet. There are a ton of little tiny lines on the back of that helmet, and so I had to kind of use my finger to try and pull out some of that paint that fell into the cracks. I was trying to do like a quick dry brush with it, and I messed it up. So we're almost there, guys, I promise. I do not intend to ever have a video this long, at least for these painting videos, with characters that are not major characters. We're getting close to the end here. We've got, as far as the Galactic Republic goes, we only have the Night Owls. I believe it's Ahsoka's Night Owl, not Ahsoka's. It's the Night Owls, and then for the CIS / Galactic Republic, the Galactic Empire, because for some reason we're already getting some of our Galactic Empire stuff in. Again, it's kind of like that weird era. Real quick, I am now switching over to do... Did I do the blaster first? Yes, I did. So this is, again, the gunmetal blaster. And all I did was the edging. So something with this unit that I did was just try incorporating highlights without really doing too many highlights, which again, for a unit that is kind of like your just standard clone trooper minion type deal, it's not that big of a deal. You don't need to do like the most complicated stuff on him, but if I wanted, I could probably have gone a little bit more detailed, which you'll see me doing a lot more once we get to the single units, like, you know, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, all of those guys, which I'm a little disappointed. I know I'm going on tangents here. I had pre-ordered the starter set, and they were listed as getting the pre-order bonus for Ahsoka, but they never gave it to me. So I mean, I shouldn't be that annoyed about it. I know she's going to come out eventually, and then I put a little red dot there and on the bag just to break up the monotony. I also realized that I needed to paint the inside there, so I gave it a gunmetal just on the top there, just to give it a little bit of a change up. Alright, and then I should be switching to the gray, or the stone, the dark stone. This was kind of a waste on my part for some of the highlight spots. You'll see I'll touch up a little bit on the upper chest area, but in truth, I kind of just liked it the way it was. If I had to do this again, I probably would go back and do take a black, or even maybe combine this with a little bit of like a dark blue to give it enough of a differentiation. I literally touched it up and I was like, well, this is pointless. So I end up eventually switching over and just going over to the face visor here, which again, I am going to do a little bit of a change and add that last little bit at the bottom. So you can see I kind of just did the T the V, essentially. I didn't do that bottom part, which I really should have. It probably would have made it pop a little bit more. But there we go. I'm trying to get him to stand. He just refuses to stand. But yeah, that is just about it. I end up, oh jeez, earthquake apparently. No, I end up mixing a little bit of white into the light blue or the crystal blue and trying to do like the light that you see on the card art. Again, it's very, I don't know why, the one that I wasn't painting on camera, I feel like turned out a little bit better, considering how much harder it was to paint him. And then I just went in with a very, very light amount of pure white. But there we go. We do a full 360 and boom, there he is. I think my camera is starting to go. I don't know why it's bleaching everything out so bad. It could just be because it's pure white, but that's it. That's Clone Commandos. Next time, I'm not too sure who we're going to do. Probably the Mandalorians for Maul or the Mandalorians for the Republic. Who knows? Anyway, guys, like, comment, and subscribe down below. We'll see you in the next one, I guess. Later.